right. Okay. I think we're good now. Technology is not my thing. So, hey, everybody. I'm Rachel, and I wanted to create something for you based on a need I have been seeing on my Facebook mostly. Um, and some of the things my clients are reaching out to me with. So, we're in this really, really crazy time. I'm super short because I'm sitting on a ball of being in self isolation, something that none of us has probably experienced before to this degree, anyways. And with that big of a change for the majority of us, I feel like we're coming up against challenges that we've never really had the space, time, or energy to sit with. And when it comes to health and wellness, I feel like a lot of us are struggling. Um, just based on what I see on Facebook, it's not going so great. And it's a fine line between being gentle with yourself, but also taking this opportunity to really grow as a person and to harness your health and start really taking care of your body. Something with a virus like this, we've seen the huge impact it's had on people's health. I try to stay away from the news, but a friend of mine, her dad was suffering from this virus, and it sounds horrific. So I like to hope that this is a wake up call for some people to understand that the most important thing in life is our health. If we don't have our health, we really don't have anything. If we're not able to go about our life and our days and with our families feeling healthy, abundant with energy, and our bodies well, they're just, to me, they're just not much. I mean, health has to be number one. So I can appreciate the struggle. It hasn't been a struggle for me, but at the same time, I've had years of a solid foundation of fitness under me. I have full access to a gym in my home. I have a treadmill. I have weights. I have everything. So the challenges for me have been minimal. And the food, I'm super routine. I'm right on. I do the same thing every day. Nothing has changed there. I don't buy junk food and have it in my home. So that hasn't changed for me at all. But I can appreciate that now so many of us are stuck at home and we're left with our vices. We're more aware of maybe the crutches we use emotionally, the habits that we've created because our whole worlds have changed. It's a shift for sure. Um, and we're dealing with things differently. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to question and feel lost and wonder what your purpose is and be fearful for the future financially, wondering about your job, whether you're even going to have one. I understand those fears. I do. But I also think that now is a great time to take all of that and discover you and to harness your health and to nourish who you are emotionally as well. Physically, emotionally, for me, nurturing me is taking care of myself physically. That's a big component of it. So, anyways, all that aside, what I thought I would do, based on seeing some of the habits that you have acquired or held on to during this time, I wanted to share with you this workshop that I used to do. I used to run workshops quite often as a holistic nutritionist. I have a certificate from a 2-year program. And nutrition has always been something that has played a big role in my life. It's something that I value heavily because my mom died back in 2004. Well, that's a really long time ago. It doesn't feel like that long. And when I found out I was pregnant with my daughter in 2008, it's 2008, something like that. Yes. Yep. She's that old already. Holy crap. I started really researching nutrition because that was something that I realized I was about to be a mom. Holy cow. So I really need to take care of myself. I didn't want any of my children to deal with life without a mom if I could help it. So I started studying nutrition and I got right into it. And nutrition is something that I'm not I'm not into cooking. I'm not into being in the kitchen. I'm not into fancy meals. I'm not into following recipes. I need something short, easy, simple, something I can just throw together. But I'm definitely about, so the culinary aspect isn't of interest to me. I am about how can I nourish my body based on what my body needs. So having said that, I don't want to give too much away yet. Having said that, I've taught dozens of workshops on different topics in various places. So, seniors groups, I've really customized workshops for them. I've customized workshops for a local cancer center, and that was probably one of my favorite things ever. So, anyways, I'm rambling. Sorry. What I want to do is share with you one of those workshops, one of the basics that I created and presented that I feel like is a good foundational workshop to begin with. So I'll share with you my slides and then I'll be talking in between, and I find it weird to just be staring at a computer screen. So I'll be switching back and forth if I can figure that out easily between me and these slides to share the information with you. I'll try to keep it an hour, but based on how much I'm talking already, we'll see. I hate not having the interaction, but I'll do my best. And then maybe there's something in here that you can take away. Maybe something that'll help you. Maybe something I say that will spark something in you. Something. So, without further ado, let's begin. And if you have any questions, just message me info@racheljane.net, or you can message below wherever you're seeing this, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So let's figure out how to screen share here. Where do I go? Hey, look at me. Okay, view slideshow. Macs are also new to me, so this is questionable. Okay, healthy eating 101 is what I like to call this, just the basics. So some of the content I'm going to go over, I've already kind of did an introduction of myself. I have a little bit more to say, but nothing too exciting. Some of the challenges you face, what healthy eating actually is, and all this, I would like to say, this is from my knowledge, my studying, but also a lot of this is my opinion. So don't hold on to everything I say. Take what resonates with you and go with that. And if you don't agree with anything, if something just doesn't sit right with you for you right now, then that's okay. I fully expect that, and that's okay. So here's some of the things that we're going to be talking about. Q&A at the end obviously isn't going to happen. I haven't actually changed this from being in person, but that's okay. You can send me messages if you need to. So first of all, introduction, I've kind of told you about who I am, a little bit more about who I am. I have 3 children. They're there in the center. They're 10, 8, and 5. I'm a single mama to them. They do see their dad, which is amazing, but they're my little people. And I also, aside from being a holistic nutritionist, I also am a personal trainer and I teach yoga and Pilates. I'm all about health. So anything I can learn about health, I'm obsessed with knowledge. I also practice reflexology, and I'm in school full time because, that's not enough, to become a registered massage therapist, which I find is just that missing link that I have with the clients I'm working with right now. Just that missing piece. So when I'm training people and there's something going on, I see that as a missing puzzle piece that I don't have. So I'm in school for that. I have another year left and it's going amazing. I'm learning so much. And aside from that, for fun, I run. That's literally my life. My kids, my work, my school, and I run. So I've run 3 marathons. They were all last year. My first marathon, I qualified for the Boston Marathon. So it's just been this huge, massive goal of mine that I didn't actually think was attainable, but it turns out it was. And so now I'm hooked. Running is, gosh, how I deal with life. It's gotten me through so many things, some big, big, big life things. So running is my thing. I'm obsessed with running. Yeah. Anyways, that's me in a nutshell. So starting with healthy eating, number one, some of the challenges. So if you can take a moment and think about challenges you face. What obstacles get in the way of you eating healthy? I just want you to sit with that for a minute. It's much better if I'm in person because then we can interact. But I just want you to think about that for a minute. What challenges do you face? And we're going to talk about a few. So, number one, which I hear from, oh gosh, all of my clients that I work with pretty much, the label and overwhelm syndrome. Okay, so we have all these different diets, as you see on the left there. What do I do? What do I follow? I've read all the research. I've heard all these stories. So and so is telling me this. So and so is telling me this. All the information seems to be conflicting. 1 minute, this is the best. 1 minute, this is the best. You just don't know where to begin. High carb, low carb, high calorie, low calorie, high fat, low fat, sugar, no sugar. Like it's too much, right? And the funny thing is, we've gone through these phases of diets being different, right? At one time, we had low carbs, but now we know carbs are actually really important for your well-being. We had low fat, and in the low fat period, that's when artificial sweeteners started getting added to food because without the fat content, they just didn't taste very good. So they started putting artificial sweeteners and different ingredients in foods to make you crave those foods so that you buy more. And that started a whole slew of health concerns, which we won't fully get into right now. So I can appreciate one of the challenges, the big challenges facing a lot of people that I work with is not knowing what to do or where to begin. There's too much, right? It's just too much. It's overwhelming. And when you feel overwhelmed, the best thing, a lot of people default to just walking away. Forget it. I'm not even going to do anything. I'll tell you a story, but I don't think I'm ready for that yet. Convenience of processed food. So when you go to the grocery store, you look around, I mean, there's so many boxed items, so many frozen dinners, it's so convenient, right? And maybe not during this time of Corona, but in our regular life when we're running place to place, our children are in sports, busy moms, we're working, we're cleaning, we're upkeeping, we're doing homework, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How easy is it to just grab food that's already done for you, right? Something simple, done, the end. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about it. It's convenient for our busy lives. So another challenge when it comes to eating healthy is all these processed foods are readily available, but they are processed, right? They're full of garbage. They aren't full of nutrients. They aren't going to sustain your health. They aren't going to raise your energy and keep it sustainable like that for the rest of the day. It's just not much in them other than sugars and additives to have you craving more, to have you still be hungry when you've just eaten, just because there's nothing nourishing your body. So another example of a challenge. I kind of mentioned this already, but conflicting information overload, again, with all these options, all these diets going on, there's a lot of conflicting information. So the big one right now is keto diet, which I'm not going to fully get into. Maybe we'll see how fired up I get. But the information is just overloaded. Keto diet, does it work? Does it not work? Well, I know so-and-so who lost 30 pounds. Well, I know so-and-so who got really sick. There's just too much out there, right? And you have conflicting information, not really based in much knowledge, all generalized for everybody, nothing specific, nothing that you can rely on. For those that agree with this diet, I can find the same number of articles or stories or whatever arguing that point from other people. So that becomes too much. So for me, those are the main challenges that my clients deal with. Convenience of processed foods, a busy lifestyle, information overload, and this variety of diets that are said to be the answer. So I don't know if you can relate to any of those, or if any of those were the reasons that you struggle with healthy eating, or maybe you didn't realize one of these were the reasons that you struggle with healthy eating. But those are common, so common. So you're not alone in that. Okay, so great. Now what? So I would like to cover some basics when it comes to what does healthy eating mean? diving into some of the mindsets when it comes to healthy eating and some of the just basic rules, not that I love that word, behind healthy eating. So if you think in your own head what healthy eating looks like or is, if you want to write this down and pause me, that's great. I love my workshops to be interactive, and it's really hard for me not to have them interactive because there has to be some kind of engagement from you in order to figure out what you need. So if you want to think about what is healthy eating, and before I kind of touch upon that, let's talk about what healthy eating is not. Hmm. Healthy eating is not one size fits all. You can't tell me what's healthy for me is the same thing that's healthy for you. There are some general guidelines, but no. One diet plan that's best for you is not going to be best for me. So it's never one size fits all. Never. Counting. Oh, healthy eating is not counting. Not counting calories, not counting macros, not counting what is that thing? Ketones, like testing for ketones, not numbers. It's not numbers. It's okay to have a general idea of what your macros look like and things like that, but it's not counting. Healthy eating is, I work with too many women who have disordered eating from their past. And what does counting do for us? I'm in that boat as well. Counting for us is a super slippery slope that as soon as we start counting, boom, we're down the hill, no matter how good of a relationship you've developed with food. I know for me, I was in a fitness competition back in 2013, and my relationship with food was pretty solid back then. And then to look good for this fitness competition, to get shredded and lean out and get on stage in front of the judges, I needed to count my food. I needed to weigh everything, including my broccoli. And it was very, very, very numbers oriented. And for certain sports, yes, it can be. But afterwards, I binge ate my face off and I just went downhill. Oh gosh, I didn't know what to do. It was just such a slippery slope for me that I didn't realize it was a slippery slope. And it's all because of counting, because we associate a number with our worth. Can you relate? A number doesn't dictate how healthy we are. It just doesn't. So healthy eating is not counting. I will never give my clients a weight to aim for, a calorie intake to aim for, fat intake. I just won't. No. Healthy eating is not guilt inducing. If you're in this diet and you eat something, and we all know this, and feel guilty about it, that's not okay. Something's wrong. Something's off. That should not be the case. Healthy eating is all about balance. And I know that's such a cliche word and just thrown around, but I'll get into that. Healthy eating is not limiting or restrictive, as you see in the next point. It's just not. And again, especially if you're a woman, especially if you have dealt with disordered eating in the past, restriction, restriction. As soon as you restrict something, so this is what I'm restricting, even though it's been like an hour of dieting, all I'm thinking about is this, because I'm not allowed to have it. I can't have it. I'm thinking about it. I'm dreaming, I'm drooling about it. Oh my God, that's all I can think about. See, I'm driving around the city. This is all I can see. Eventually, what's going to happen is I'm going to eat this and I'll feel like a piece of crap because I'm going to feel so shameful that why can't I just have the willpower to not eat this thing? But instead I ate like 6 of them because I was restricting, feeling guilty. And then boom, I need to get back on my diet and restrict. And it's just a vicious cycle and it will not end until you find that balance. Healthy eating is also not an act of self-loathing. You are not restricting. You are not, even for somebody to say, ooh, I ran 5 kilometers today. I earned this cheesecake. It's not about earning. It's about nourishing your body. It's not about, yes, if I can lose 10 pounds, I'll gift myself a new pair of shoes. Why don't you gift yourself a new pair of shoes anyway? Because they'll make you feel good when you're running. I mean, running shoes are my kind of shoes, but maybe they're not yours. So healthy eating, non-active self-loathing. If you find, apparently I'm struggling to say that, self-loathing. If you find you're struggling with feeling worthless, feeling shameful, feeling guilty, then there's something going on in whatever it is that you're doing. In general, some general guidelines. Healthy eating consists, and as I said before, this is not a one-size approach, but there are some general guidelines that um, paint the picture of what healthy eating is. So healthy eating in general is real whole foods. It's not the stuff that's processed, that's full of garbage, chemicals, artificial things that aren't going to nourish your body. So when you think about healthy eating, for me, it's nourishing your body. This is my body. I have only this body to last me my life. I want it to be energetic. I want it to be strong. I want to feel really good every day when I wake up. So how can I nourish my body? I'm not going to put crap in it. I'm going to fill it with real whole foods, right? We'll kind of get into that because that sounds restrictive, but it's not. And I'll explain the difference shortly. Healthy eating in general, the least number of ingredients. So what I mean by that, if you pick up, let's say, a box of crackers, and you have 2 different boxes, and normally I have these available in my workshops, but if you have 2 boxes of crackers and you look at the ingredients, one will have like 35 ingredients, 3/4 of which you have no idea what they are. You've never heard of them. Or you pick up another box of crackers, like Mary's crackers is a good example. There's, I don't know, 6-ish ingredients, and you know what every ingredient is. I don't have a box with me right now, but something like flaxseed, excuse me. So you know what the ingredients are. Typically, the less the amount of ingredients are in a product, the healthier it is. Typically, that's a generalization. It's not always the case, but you don't want a box of anything with 35 ingredients. It's just a chemical shit show. Healthy eating in general is food that comes from the earth, right? The best diet plan is, if we look way back when, is when they grew their own food. They grew it from the earth. Now, unfortunately, our soil has been depleted of many of the essential minerals and nutrients, which is why supplementation might be something to consider. But healthy eating is food. It's so simple. It's food, right? Has it been grown in the earth? Do you know what the food is? Does it have ingredients? Because if you think about food that has no ingredients in it, think about that. What types of foods are those? Fruits. The ingredient for an apple is an apple. Vegetables, nuts, seeds, meats, etc. Healthy eating, if you think about maybe homemade bars, you put like oats, egg, milk, whatever else, maple syrup in it. If you pick something, you can probably go into your pantry right now and find a box and have a look at the ingredients. Are those foods in your food, or are these chemicals? So healthy eating. Healthy eating hasn't been tampered with, is in season and local. Those are the best options. Obviously, we can't get that. I'm in Canada. We can't get that year round. But ideally, in season and local, going to your farmer's market and supporting your local farmers is great. And you're going to nourish your body with local food that's in season. Healthy eating in general provides your body nutrients, as we've already discussed. Healthy body, you need to put good stuff in it to make it healthy. So healthy nutrients and minerals. And then healthy eating works for your body. I would never give anybody a meal plan that I will never say, I think you should go on the keto plan. I won't pigeonhole anybody into a diet. And that's really frustrating for some people, because some people really just want, give me a meal plan, just tell me what to eat, tell me what to do. And I won't cookie cut or anything. Healthy eating for me is going to be different from what your healthy eating looks like. So for example, healthy eating for me, I'm a 30-something-year-old woman who has a menstrual cycle to support. I run approximately 120 kilometers a week. I need to support that for different needs. According to my blood work, I'm lower in iron, so I need to change my diet to incorporate more iron into my diet, etc. So my body is very different from your body. We can still eat healthy, but what I do might not work for you, and vice versa. So in order to eat healthy, you have to make sure that what you're doing is working for your body. You're not following a cookie cutter plan. Loose guidelines are great, but cookie cutter plans followed to a T with restriction and lacking any variability, that's not healthy. It's not going to be sustainable. And I'll probably get into why. Loose and general guidelines. Again, I like loose and general. I don't like specifics, and I'll tell you why shortly. Macro balancing. So macros are your fats, your proteins, and your carbohydrates. You need to eat a certain amount of those every day. So the biggest problem I see with my clients is not getting enough healthy fats. And we will get into that in a little bit. Loads of veggies. Veggies are very nutrient dense. Most people don't eat enough veggies. If you think about the vegetables you eat every single day, are you getting more than half a serving a day? That would be great. Eating a rainbow. So each color, as you see in this picture here, it's very loose, kind of has similar nutrients and minerals to it. So for example, orange fruits and vegetables help prevent inflammation. So they have similar traits in them that is nourishing your body in a similar manner. So it's important to get a variety of color, which will provide your body a variety of different nutrients and minerals. Real food, we've discussed to length, and the best quality of food. Some questions to ponder and sort through and ask yourself when you're looking at healthy eating are here. Consideration, body imbalances. What imbalances do you have in your body that we are working with? I have a lot of clients that have low iron, that have maybe thyroid disorders, hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism. Let's just dive into that actually. These are the top 5 that I see. Thyroid, adrenal, oh gosh, as women, children, work, balance. The adrenal glands are glands that sit atop your kidneys, and they're kind of in charge of your stress response. Too much stress, chronic stress, will overload your adrenals and make them work really, really hard. And after a period of time, they stop working as efficiently as they could, which leads to a whole slew of hormonal imbalances in your body. Mineral deficiencies, magnesium, zinc are 2 of the bigger ones. B12 and iron deficiencies. I still am on the low end of iron. I take a liquid supplement every single day, and running definitely depletes my iron quicker than normal. So I have to address my imbalances through eating meat and through supplementation. So your imbalances, and I think it's important for everybody to get blood work done every year and look at their blood work. Don't just let their doctor look at it. You look at it. I have all my blood work upstairs, not my blood, but my paperwork for my blood work upstairs. And I compare year to year, and I analyze my own blood work. So it's important for you to get an understanding of what in your body is imbalanced. Some you can't really tell through blood work. So for example, I have clients with, who should I use an example? A client with chronic headaches. I'll say that. No, we're going to get into that. What other imbalances do we have? We're going to talk about food intolerances shortly. Thyroid is already on there, but I've had many clients with thyroid disorders. So what their diet plan is going to look like, we'll have to address that situation. I can't just say, hey, follow the keto diet without addressing the imbalances they have in their body. So when it comes to healthy eating, I don't want this to sound too overwhelming. When it comes to healthy eating, figure out what your imbalances are and work them into your plan. You can't ignore what your body is telling you. Okay, I'll just leave that at that. If you have any questions, let me know. It's good to work with I'm not going to say dietitian, with a nutritionist, because they can really also, based on your symptoms and based on your food logs, which we'll talk about, they can really get an idea of what is working in your body and what isn't food-wise. Oftentimes people are eating things that they shouldn't be, not because it's bad, but because it's not working with their body at that period of time. So what do you typically crave? It's interesting because people crave things, and those cravings you shouldn't ignore. Those cravings are oftentimes your body telling you something. So chocolate, oh, this is me. I eat chocolate every day, actually, not much, but I eat chocolate. Oftentimes those who really crave chocolate are lacking magnesium in their body, because chocolate provides your body magnesium. So you can have a look at these foods here. Pause if you'd like. These are the general ones. There's more in-depth information that we can get into, but excuse me, these are the general ones. Oh, long day. So when you have cravings, if it's something like every now and then you crave something, that's fine. But if you have a chronic craving that just like you're like, oh man, I need to eat this and I need to eat this now, find me this. That's your body screaming at you saying, whoa, I'm deficient in something, please give it to me. But it's not what it seems like. Like if you're craving French fries, your body probably doesn't actually need French fries. Maybe it needs the sodium that you load onto the French fries. So you're going to crave something, but figure out what within that craving your body is needing. It's probably not French fries, but if that makes sense. Okay. Oh boy, this is such an easy one to talk about, but I mean, how? Manage stress. So initially, when the stress response is good, and I have a whole workshop just on this. Stress response is good, it helps protect us, fight or flight, et cetera, et cetera. But chronic stress felt over a period of time, which I'd say 95% of us deal with chronic stress rather than just cute short-term stress. So when we are dealing with chronic stress, what happens is you get an increase of cortisol, which is a hormone, which increases your appetite and decreases your motivational levels. I think it says does not increase motivation. And it stores a lot of your food in your belly, next to your liver. It's a coping mechanism, it's a survival mechanism. Great, but it's not great when we're trying to manage weight or become healthy. Typically, when we're stressed, I don't know about you, we all deal with it differently, but I struggle to sleep. And when I don't sleep as well, I wake up later, I'm less rested, I don't have the energy throughout the day. I don't want to work out. I do anyways, but I don't want to work out. And then it becomes this perpetual cycle. Stress is the underlying cause of so many things. And when I work with clients, almost always we work on something stress management wise for them to implement into their lives because it's such a chronic issue. So some of the solutions, it sounds so easy, right? I get it though. Life is crazy. Meditation, yoga, deep breathing, moving your body, and social support are some of the top ways of managing the stress response. Again, I hate to glaze over these things, but for the sake of your time, we'll not get into that. Okay, next, just a few initial tools to work with. Transforming into a healthy eater, I've kind of divided this up into two parts. Number one is the mindset shift, because for sustainable results when it comes to fitness and nutrition, there has to be a shift of mindset, because if whatever you're doing is not currently working for you and hasn't worked for you in X number of years, something is blocking success. And more often than not, other than tools, it is your mindset. And the second part, we'll talk about conscious choices, which is more the tool aspect of transforming. Okay, this is a tough one for a lot of people, but mindset one, eating when your body needs to eat. This one is a big one because the people that I work with, I get their food logs and I always ask them to write down what time they eat. And it's all over the place. So eat when your body needs to eat. So you have a look at this scale: too hungry, hungry, neutral, satisfied, too full. Hunger and satisfaction gauge. Bleh. This is kind of a two-parted thing here. Number one, most women I work with don't eat often enough. They'll eat, oh gosh, some women that I've worked with don't eat until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They fill their body with coffee and coffee and coffee and coffee, and then food at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So by then they're too hungry. So if you look at the scale from 0 to 1-ish, headache, nausea, irritable, lightheaded, shaky, loss of focus. You'll also have blood sugar fluctuations, which can lead to fatigue. That 3 o'clock slump is often due to low blood sugar levels, which often through food logs I see is due to a completely abnormal eating schedule. So then you eat and eat and eat, and usually if you wait till 3 o'clock to eat or whatever, Then you become too full because you're going to binge eat because your blood sugar now is really low and your body's going into starvation mode. So it makes you eat until your blood sugar starts to raise again. Also, if you wait too long to eat, your body's going to be craving those heavy carbs and sugary foods because it needs to raise its blood sugar level and you're not letting it. So it has you crave these crazy things to raise it quickly. So mindset number one is eat when your body needs to eat. Eat regularly and eat enough, but not too much. If you're binge eating and you have to, I don't know the last time I had to like undo my pants because I was so stuffed. I mean, that can happen once in a while if I was like at the Mandarin or something, but just eat when your body needs you to eat. Your body needs you to eat regularly and normal portions. And you think of a plate, a normal portion isn't your food stacked up here, and a normal portion isn't this section of food sitting in the corner of your plate. A full, well-balanced meal, again, with all the macros. That's just a little visual for those that are visual. Okay, mindset two is becoming a conscious eater. How many of you eat while you're watching TV, eat while you're racing in the car, eat while standing up, eat while you're making your kids dinner? There's no conscious awareness of what you're eating or how much you're eating or how you're eating. So starting to just think about food. I once had this friend who said he hated eating. He hated everything to do with food. He hated the fact that he had to eat. It was just kind of an inconvenience in his day, and that kind of blew me away. Eating is great. I have this opportunity at every meal to make my body healthy or unhealthy, to give my body energy or to take away energy. I think that is such an exciting thing. So when you're becoming a conscious eater, just being more aware. Are you sitting down to eat? Are you just pulling out of bag after bag after bag and not paying attention? Do you have your food on your plate where you can see it? Are you being mindful of your chewing? Or are you just shoving things down your throat? Becoming a conscious eater is great for establishing a solid, healthy relationship when it comes to food and eating, but also you're helping your digestive system, because when we eat in a stress state or when we eat when we're in a rush, our digestive system is not ready for food because it's stress. If your body's stressed and you're trying to eat, when we're stressed, our digestive system is not actually functioning where it should be functioning. Your body's not going to be able to absorb all the nutrients that you can be from food because your digestive system thinks this is a secondary procedure. It doesn't think that digesting food is important because you're stressed. There's something bigger going on. There's something more important to deal with. So the blood from the center of your body will flow to the outside of to the outer limbs of your body. So in your digestive system is kind of left behind, which can lead to a whole slew of problems. It can lead to digestive upsets. It can lead to heartburn. It can lead to stomach aches, bloating, gas, etc. So becoming a conscious eater is so important. Ditch the rules. Sorry, there's a thing in here. No, I don't know how to do this. Okay, anyways, I was gonna fix that, but let's not. Let's not touch this anymore. Ditch the rules. So eat with a purpose. Ignore the not for instant. I don't even know what that means. Just ignore that. Eat when you're hungry. Tune into your body. Good food versus bad food. So what I think I was trying to say there is we are so programmed to instant gratification. If we are thinking that we want cake, we're going to go and get a cake. We can't just wait to enjoy it or think about the long-term benefits of not eating that cake. And again, it's such a very, very, very fine line between choosing health versus feeling restricted. So when we're ditching the rules, I hate the idea of people saying, oh, I can't eat carbs, I'm on a diet. I can't eat cake, I'm on a diet. For me, I eat whatever I want, whenever I want. The difference is I don't choose those types of foods often because I know the next day my stomach's going to be bloated. I might not have energy to get through my runs feeling strong. I might feel lethargic through my runs. I might have the 3 o'clock slump in the middle of the afternoon. I just know the consequences of eating those foods. And it's not like I say no cake. For God's sake, I really want the cake, but I shouldn't have the cake. Oh my gosh, you don't deserve that cake, blah, 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 blah. It's not this whole big thing. It's, no, not today. And that's fine, ending it there. So, rules, if you're hungry, eat. We've come so far away from understanding and hearing our bodies because we are doing things that we're told to do, right? You should be doing intermittent fasting. You should be going on this juice cleanse. You should be following keto. You should not eat in the first 4 hours of the day. You should not eat 3 hours before bedtime. We're following these rules that God knows who made up, and we're losing our connection with our body. Well, am I actually hungry? Well, am I going through something emotionally where I'm craving sugar? Um, am I getting enough fat in my diet? Is that why I'm lacking energy? No, I've got to stick to this diet. And the idea of good foods versus bad foods, let's see what's coming up because I'll share my story with you now. Good foods versus bad foods. I don't love that. There's healthy foods, and I'm going to say there's nourishing foods and depleting foods. There's foods that will nourish your body, and there's foods that will deplete things in your body, whether that's minerals, energy, good moods. So I don't like hearing the vocab, like any of that, that's bad, which I know a few people close to me are very guilty of that. Understandably so, that's kind of how we've been programmed. But I would like to give you a story from my life to just kind of go along with this and just to give you a solid idea why, and I might have to cover this later, but I'm not sure. I don't love diets, and I've already talked about that. But a personal example for me is I gave up eating meat when I was just turned 17. Like a week after I turned 17, I gave up eating meat because I heard these stories about slaughterhouses, and it totally affected me. So I didn't eat meat. There was one year that I was actually fully vegan, but I didn't eat red meat for 17 years. I was fully vegan for a year somewhere in there, and I didn't eat chicken for, I think it was like 13 years. So I kind of progressed differently. I was still eating chicken when I gave up red meat because the stories I heard were slaughterhouses of pigs. And then I was still okay eating chicken. And then one day I was driving home from university behind a chicken truck, and these chickens were just looking at me in their cages, and I felt awful. And their feathers were flying. I remember exactly where I was. And I stopped eating chicken. So 17 years of not eating meat. And I was known as the vegetarian, like everywhere we went, all my family, friends, etc., knew I was vegetarian. So I had 3 children, fine, that's fine. I went through those pregnancies vegetarian. And then one day, I think it was in 2000 and let me think, 2014, 2015. I don't remember, but anyways, not too long ago, I had this ridiculous craving for chicken. Like my mouth would water. I just thought about chicken. I craved it so desperately for probably a few months, and it was such a cognitive dissonance for me to be this vegetarian for 17 years. Yeah, well, it wouldn't have been 17 years. Yeah, it was about 17 years. And then just crave chicken. I couldn't understand. I got through all my pregnancies. I went through all these things, and I never had chicken. And then I craved it. So like I was losing my mind. I needed chicken. So one day I cooked it. I had to look up how to cook it, and I ate it by myself, completely ashamed of myself and my choice to eat chicken when all I could remember were these chicken trucks. And to make a long story short, very shortly around that same time, I decided to get blood work done. And I looked at my blood work. Everything came back normal, but I looked at my blood work, and sure enough, I was right on the low end of iron and vitamin B12. Actually, I might have been deficient. I might have been flagged on that one. So what my body was telling me was that, whoa, you are dealing with low iron and low B12, and we need to get some iron and B12 into your body. So I was craving chicken, meat. And yeah, it's taken me like how many years later, and I'm still not great with my iron. Because once iron and B12 are depleted in your body, it's very, very time consuming. It takes a long time to build those back up. Once your flag is depleted, that has been a long process of becoming depleted. So those years I was vegetarian, my numbers were probably dropping bit by bit until I was just almost empty. And that was a big lesson for me because I was totally ashamed of who I was and my decision to eat meat again. But at the same time, I was listening to my body. And that was a big shift for me because I learned that I had pigeonholed myself into this diet of being a vegetarian because it's considered a diet, right? So deeply that I had been ignoring what my body was telling me it needed because I'm in this category. I'm not leaving this category. I followed all the rules. I didn't deviate. Everything's set in stone. And in doing so, you really lose connection with your body and you no longer understand its signals. You no longer listen to its signals. You push them down, push them aside, and they'll get louder and louder. Your body is not going to be quieter. It's going to get louder. It just, how that loud looks will depend on your body and what it's depleted in. So I don't love diets. I don't love thinking about good food versus bad food. I don't love the rules because all these things I feel cause a disconnect between you and your body, if that makes sense. Okay, mindset 3, quality over quantity. So if you look, I have another, at these two pictures, you've got asparagus and strawberries. So when you look at those pictures, what do I see? I see folate, I see vitamin K, I see fiber, vitamin C, did I say that already? Antioxidants, stable blood sugars, anti-inflammatories, immune boosting properties, digestive supporting properties. That's what I see in this picture. These are about 100 calories each. So about 100 calories of strawberries, about 100 calories of asparagus. So if we're going to talk about numbers, this is a visual for you. This is why I don't love numbers, and I'll tell you why in a second. So when it comes to healthy eating, you're thinking about quality of what you're eating versus the quantity of what you're eating, okay? Because those are 100 calories. Also popular, I don't know if they still sell these, but I'm assuming they do, are these guys, the 100. Oh my gosh, how popular are these? There's only 100 calories in this pack. It's all measured out for you. The job's done. All you have to do is eat them. It's only 100 calories, right? Because calories are so important. Okay, so if you look at this picture, these are the ingredients in one package of these Chips Ahoy calorie packs, and they're all the same. I mean, I'm not picking on Chips Ahoy. They're all the same. I've highlighted some in red that are more noteworthy, I guess. So if you look, there's quite a long list of ingredients here. Enriched flour, enriched basically means they took all the good stuff out and tried to mimic the good stuff by putting in chemicals. Artificial flavor, you don't want anything artificial in your body. I mean, the name itself should cause some red flags. High oleic canola oil, highly inflammatory in the body, lots of oxidative stress. High fructose corn syrup, holy hyenas, just Google that one. Tons of health concerns when it comes to high fructose corn syrup, tons. Artificial flavors at the bottom as well. So, okay, you're only eating 100 calories, but what are you also eating? You're eating inflammation. You're eating dysregulated blood sugar levels, which means give yourself an hour. Your blood sugar levels are going to crash because you're throwing in a ton of sugar. And then you're going to crave donuts and breads and candy, chocolate, because you need your blood sugar to rise. So you're craving more crap because you're not giving your body nutrients at all. You're giving them this junk, a lot of chemicals, additives, etc. Inflammation, which leads to all sorts of illness. Dysregulation, maybe some hormone dysregulation depending on what you're already dealing with in your body. I won't even say that one. So anyways, you can get the idea, right? You're not just consuming 100 calories, you're consuming depletion is how I like to look at it. Your energy might skyrocket for 10 minutes and then you're going to come crashing down. This is doing nothing in your body. Nothing in your body is being supported. Yes, it's delicious. I won't disagree with that. Nothing in your body is being supported. Nothing is getting healthier. Nothing is finding energy. Nothing. So that's why quality over quantity. So I don't care what the 100 calories is. This is why people follow diets. Like if it fits your macros, I don't know if you've heard of that one, but you're allowed 1,200 calories a day. Doesn't matter what you eat, as long as you eat calories at 1,200 calories. Calories in is calories out. No, it's not. It's absolutely not. Because with this, you're creating so much stress and dysregulation in your body. Your health is going to pay for it. Maybe you'll lose some weight, but guess what? You're going to have bloated belly because you're having all this sugar and crap. Your energy is going to be so crap. You're not going to be wanting to go outside and move your body. So you're not going to be active, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Does that make sense? So numbers, no. Quality, absolutely. Okay, this is a great time to touch upon this. Embracing your feelings without food. How many of us have used food as a crutch? If you see that one, today I will live in the moment, unless the moment is unpleasant, in which case I will eat a cookie. How many of us go to sugary foods? And it's because of the dysregulation of cortisol and other hormones in our body when we're stressed. And I get it. Oh gosh, there's nothing more that I want other than chips and chocolate all at once when I'm stressed out. So I have a little chart on the right-hand side here, hunger, physical versus emotional. Sometimes we don't even know. We don't know that we're not even hungry. We're just craving something to relieve some kind of emotion we have in our body. So there's some examples there. I won't read through them all. Trying to be mindful of your time. But maybe we can learn to cope with life without food. Food is amazing. It can be great. Maybe we can go with strawberries, which are going to be high on antioxidants, rather than, I don't know, a donut. Maybe we can explore what else can fill that emotional void or that emotional struggle other than stuffing your face with something that's going to make you feel like garbage, because so much more. I have clients who have shifted from food to something creative, a creative outlet, knitting, painting, pottery, anything creative. My daughter, when she's stressed out, she already recognizes that she cooks, she bakes. And I don't have I don't have white sugar, white flour, or anything in my house. So she has to get really creative, but she recognizes that the movement through the kitchen, the creativity of altering recipes in her own mind and not following the recipe and just a guideline and exploring and creating, that's what she likes to do. It's never about what she cooks. She'll have one of whatever she cooks, but that's how she deals with her emotions. And it's really interesting to see her already starting to understand that. I've already kind of touched upon this, but longevity versus immediate gratification. We are wired for immediate gratification. We want sugar, we want it now. I don't want to wait a week. Come on. But the problem is immediate gratification oftentimes is choosing foods that are not so great for us versus thinking about the long-term consequences, right? Developing discipline is a muscle that I think is extremely important when it comes to many areas of life. But when it comes to food, if you can start shifting your mindset around what are your goals? How do you want to feel? I'm all about feeling. I want to be energetic. I want to bounce out of bed. I want to be able to play. I want to be able to sustain this lifestyle of what I do. I'm teaching yoga and fitness. And I'm not going to be able to do that if I'm eating chips in the middle of the afternoon. I just know. So yes, well, I would love to dip my hand in a bag of dill pickle chips. I won't. Well, number one, because I don't have them in my house, but I'd be tempted. That's for sure. I'm not, what's what I'm looking for? I'm not excluded. That's not the word I'm looking for, but I'm not excluded from these cravings just because I value nutrition so highly. I have those cravings, but I definitely have practiced thinking about the long-term effects of what I'm choosing. And like I said, being a runner is great for me because tonight, for example, after dinner, when I crave sweets, I'm not going to eat whatever crappy food because I know tomorrow morning I need to be able to perform. So it's quite beneficial. Okay, part B, this is what everybody wants to know. What are the best food choices? I'm going to cover some of the basics, but again, what's best for me might not be best for you, and these are just generalizations. So step one, I have a whole workshop on this, so I'm not going to jump into this too deeply, is read the labels. If you see this picture here, these are two examples of soup. So the one in red, you can probably see which one that is. I won't name names. But if you look at those ingredients, how many of those are you familiar with? And are there any that surprise you? You notice there's monosodium glutamate, MSG. If you don't know the health concerns of MSG, I would suggest looking it up. Cornstarch, corn syrup solids, hydrolyzed soy protein. Do you know what that is? No? Oh, interesting. Some things I can't pronounce. And then the one on the left is also a soup. And if you look at the ingredients, I'll read it. It might be a little bit hard to read, but filtered water, organic onions, organic lentils, organic carrots, organic celery, organic potatoes, organic diced tomatoes, organic spinach, etc. I'm not going to read them all, but you get the idea. So learning in the grocery store to just, if you need to buy soup, picking up a couple different cans or boxes or whatever, if you're not going to make it yourself, obviously, and just look at it, at the ingredients. Don't even worry about the numbers, the calories. That is so, as we discussed, quality over quantity, right? Don't look at the calories in the soup. Look at the ingredients. Are you about to consume energy and vitality, or are you about to consume energy depletion? Okay. So does that make sense? Do I recognize, can I pronounce? Okay, this label really sucks. I apologize for that. But these are two examples of barbecue sauces. So the one on the left is fairly easy to read. Sugar, glucose, fructose, white vinegar, tomato puree, Worcestershire, I shouldn't even tried that one, sauce, hydrolyzed soy protein, there it is again, anchovies, xanthan gum, blah, 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 sodium benzoate, potassium sorbate. I'm not sure what that one is. It's actually not horrible, but it's not great. The first ingredient there is sugar, glucose, fructose, which means the bulk of what's in there is that. This one, I'm going to have trouble reading, but it's organic honey, water, organic tomato paste, organic vinegar, salt, and organic cornstarch. That's it. Those are two barbecue sauces. So again, look at how many ingredients are in there. Can you pronounce the ingredients? And do you recognize what those ingredients are? Okay, so talking about the best food choices, veggies. I've already mentioned it. High in fiber, which is going to help your digestive system. It's going to help your poop be great because poop is a big indicator of what your health is at, where your health is at. High nutrient density, phytochemicals, antioxidants, fiber, minerals, nutrients. So veggies are loaded with things that our body needs. They're very protective for our immune system, our heart health, everything. You probably aren't getting enough veggies in your diet if I had to guess. I'll share some ideas on how to incorporate more veggies in your diet if you like. Seafood, and again, if this isn't going to sit well with you, that completely, totally fine. I want you to be an advocate for your own body. Best choices for seafood are wild caught. You don't want farm seafood, so have a look on the back. It might say product of China. Don't recommend that. There's a lot of articles you can read about farmed seafood. It's quite frightening. So seafood provides our bodies essential fatty acids. Again, most people are not consuming enough healthy fats. This is a great example of a healthy fat. It's good for your brain health and hormonal health. Selenium, B vitamins, protein. There's a website on the bottom, seafoodwatch.org, to find the best quality of seafood. Lots of information there. I highly recommend it. Fruits, very similar to vegetables. Fruits provide our body with lots of vitamins and minerals, high water content. Sometimes, like in the summertime, if you seem to crave fruit a lot, it might be because your body is needing more water. So that's really interesting. High in fiber as well if you're eating the skins of the fruits. Best options, I mean, they're all great for different reasons, but berries are really great because they're super high in antioxidants and they're low on the glycemic index, which means if you have blood sugar regulation issues, berries probably won't be a problem. That's all I'm going to say about that. There's so much more I can say, but I'm not going to. We talk about the pH scale. That's an important thing to do, to discuss, but not in today's workshop. Nuts and seeds, again, this is a source of healthy fat. So we've got all different sorts of seeds here: hemp seed, chia seed, flax seed, sunflower seed, pumpkin seed, sesame seed. All those vitamins and minerals high in iron, zinc, magnesium, B, and nuts. All great. I know that most places just, you aren't allowed to have nuts or seeds, but when and where you're able to. I consume mixed nuts and seeds together. I have just a mix that I put together pretty much every day. It's best to soak them, but that's a whole other thing. Okay, dairy is questionable. And when I say dairy, I also mean dairy-free options such as oat, almond, I'm not sure about that one, and coconut. So protein, calcium, B vitamins, A, D, minerals. If you're going to buy cow's milk, whole fat is great. You don't want zero, is it 0%? I don't even know how they sell milk. I haven't bought normal milk in many, many years. You want fat. You want fat in the milk, though. You don't want skim milk. You just need the fat. Yes, but if you're not a dairy person, which I am not, other than cheese, other great options are oat and coconut milk. Beans and legumes, again, fiber. A lot of people just don't get enough fiber. It helps cleanse the digestive system, the digestive tract. Also, protein and complex carbs. For those who might be a vegetarian, having beans and legumes on their own is thought to be high in protein, but you also need to mix it with a grain in order to turn it into complete protein. Those are two different things. Just a side note, again, the problem with nutrition is there's so many tangents I can go on and so many avenues I can explore, but trying to keep mindful of your time. I don't even know how long it's been. You can soak the beans or legumes if you have dried ones, obviously, to leach out any fermentation properties, which is known to cause gas. It's a real issue, so it's best to soak them if and where possible. Meats, again, if you're not a meat eater, that's fine. Meats contain, and I mean, that's a very broad category, I realize. Iron, B12, other nutrients. Ideally, you're getting hormone-free, ideally local. Hormone-free is really important, I think, because our foods are loaded with hormones, and I think a lot of the evidence being seen in girls who are developing early and getting their periods early, it's just a little frightening to me. So ideally, if you're eating meat, you'll find a source of hormone-free meat. Grains, carbs. We need carbs. So grains are a complex carb. There's different varieties of carbs. Lots of minerals. Yeah, I'll let you read this. Grains are important. Fats, again, I've mentioned this 1 million times approximately. We do not get enough fats in our diet. So I've put some examples of healthy fats at the bottom of, we've already mentioned a couple of them. Fats are really good for, and I've written that they're energy, as I mentioned, and hormone regulation. Those are two really important ones, and transportation of nutrients. Blood sugar, keeping you full. Two different kinds of fats. You've got omega-3 and omega-6. We're often deficient in healthy fats. So those are some examples at the bottom. You need fat. I remember one time I ran into my dad at Costco and I was buying a big thing of almonds. Why are you buying that? You can't eat fat. You're not supposed to eat fat. You'll get fat. And that is such an old misconception about fat. We need healthy fats. There are fats that we can avoid, like deep fried fats, canola oil, things like that, that are going to cause a lot of inflammation in your body. But your body needs fat. You're not going to get fat from eating fat. You're going to get fat from eating a ton of crap, right? It's not the healthy fats. You need healthy fats. Healthy food extra, dark chocolate, because I'm a chocolate lover. And herbal tea. I wrote some of the best herbal teas and their health benefits. Anything you put into your body, you just want to think, am I depleting or am I nourishing, right? Dark chocolates are actually very high in antioxidants, and who doesn't love chocolate? Okay, I didn't think I was going to get into this, but I'll just briefly touch upon this. So I don't know if you've heard these terms. You can further look into this. But when we talk about the pH balance and the glycemic index, it basically means how quickly will the food raise your blood sugar. And ideally, you want to be eating foods that slow your elevation of blood sugar, because otherwise you raise it quickly, what's going to happen? It'll crash quickly, and there perpetuates that cycle, right? And a lot of us are sensitive to blood sugar changes as well. If you feel shaky or lightheaded or really irritable, or that 3 o'clock slump, it's because your blood sugar levels are not stable. So you have your high glycemic index foods, your medium, and your low. There's lots of stuff online about this, but there's a good book recommendation at the bottom here called the GI Diet. It just gives you a lot more information. If this is something of interest to you, or if you deal with blood sugar imbalances, this is a really great resource to start thinking about. And the pH balance measures the acidity or alkalinity of a food. And if you look at that beautiful picture, the acidic foods are those that create inflammation in your body. Anybody who has a disease, has cancer, their blood is going to be acidic. I know when my mom was diagnosed with cancer, her blood was very acidic. And the first protocol the doctors had her doing was juicing, which is a whole other thing, to make her blood more alkaline, because disease thrives in acidic environments. Whereas if you have an alkaline environment, disease can't thrive. So there are lists of some foods on each. Some of them are a bit questionable. The resources you look into, there's a little bit of debate and variation within them. So I've written down my 2 favorite books, The Ultimate pH Solution and The pH Miracle. If this is something that you want to dive into, this is more like in-depth healthy eating stuff. This is a fine-tuning, but it's just a concept to be aware of. And again, if you love researching and love knowledge, this is just a really good concept to start thinking about. Okay, so planning for success. What does that look and feel like? I've written out a few guidelines just to help you get started on your way. Choose to ignore it, choose to implement, whatever. Prepare, prepare, prepare. So all about convenience, right? How many people go to work and don't pack a lunch? How many people go to work and pack one snack? How many people go out shopping with their friend and they know they're going to be gone for 7 hours but bring no food and no water? Being prepared will allow you to reach for that healthy food without, so if I was to go shopping with a friend, I don't even like shopping, I don't know why I'm using that as an example. Let's say I'm going hiking with a friend, and I feel like we'll probably be a few hours. I don't bring any food or any water with me. By the time I get to my car, I'm starving to death. And when I drive home, when I see Tim Hortons and think about a bagel, that's it. I'm in. I'm buying it, because my body is just like that chart we saw. My body is now really, really hungry, and it needs to be fed. It needs to be fed now. It needs to be fed lots. It needs to be fed sugary foods. If you prepare, you have healthy foods on hand, always readily available. So this is a great picture here of some food prep that this person has done. So I'm going to do a video on this anyways, but have all your fruits and veggies washed and chopped. Maybe have some healthy snacks made. Hard-boiled eggs, something I have on hand. When I make my chicken, I make like 5 chicken breasts, and then that's ready for the week. When I make rice, I fill my, no, I don't fill it, but I put many portions into my rice cooker, and that's what I have available for the week. So if you're not prepared, you're going to reach for the crap foods, and I would as well. But if you are prepared, then this is what you have on hand, right? I'm a big fan of a daily smoothie. Smoothies are great because you can ram in so many nutrients into one drink. I have many posts about smoothies and the recipes I use, but perfect vehicle for nutrient-dense foods, especially for breakfast. I love this for breakfast. Juicing, I have a whole workshop on this as well, but as I mentioned, it will flood your body with absorbed nutrients while alkalizing the blood. Juicing is great, but I also can appreciate how time-consuming and how much effort this might require. So now what? I've given you some things to percolate on. Take-home tools. Summarize what you can do going forward is work on any imbalances. So see a naturopathic doctor, get your blood work done, see what kind of imbalances you're dealing with. And I can appreciate during this time, I don't know what's open or what you have access to. Figure out what your imbalances are and work on those. Start a food log and tap into some of your symptoms. So I always suggest my clients, and this is how I weed them out as well, who's ready and who's not. Give me a food log of at least 3 days of what you eat. Tell me what you eat, what time you eat. And just looking at that visually and just bringing about that awareness can start giving you an idea of what's working and what's not working. So if you're someone, for example, who deals with headaches every day, like I kind of already mentioned, have a look at your food log and see what foods you might be eating regularly around the time that you get headaches. It's really, really eye-opening and really important, I feel like, to start tapping into your body and what it's telling you, because oftentimes it just goes unnoticed until we see it. Stop ignoring your body signals. Use the HALT method before eating. So, am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? Ask yourself those things. Oftentimes it's yes, and then you don't actually need to eat. You need something else. Have healthy food handy. So prep your food. Start replacing processed foods. Read the labels and question everything. Um, Also, one other thing that is really important that should be in here. When I say use the HALT method before eating, also ask yourself if you're hydrated enough. So many, those moods when you're like hungry and you look in the cupboard and you eat something and didn't quite do it. So you try to eat something else and just didn't quite do it. You just feel like this emptiness that nothing is filling. Oftentimes it's because you're just thirsty and you're not hydrated enough. So healthy eating also involves your hydration levels. Making sure you're well hydrated will definitely prevent you from overeating or choosing poor foods. It's amazing what drinking the proper amount of water can do for you. And by proper amount, I mean check your urine. You want your urine to be just slightly yellow. If it's orange or if it's dark yellow, you are definitely not hydrated enough. I go into the bathroom often. Sometimes my kids don't flush a toilet and I'll say, I'm like, guys, who just peed in here? Who has not been drinking? And they know who's not drinking enough water. Your pee. Come look at the color of your pee. We talk about it all the time. So, anyways, last thing, where can you learn more? Here are some of the resources and websites and people that I like to go to for nutrition. This is the stuff that I consulted when I was really starting in my nutrition journey. I guess you can say it like that. So those are some resources for you to use. If you stuck it out this long, thank you. If not, I totally get it. But I hope there's something in there that might resonate with you. I'm happy to share more, but I'm just hoping that maybe one little tidbit of something I said will stick and work with you. So until next time, I have to figure out how to stop this thing. Until next time, just keep nourishing you.